find it very interesting that people always be overreacting and don't know how to control their emotions. In fact, what is controlling your emotions and what is emotional regulation? Why do we overreact in the first place? You see, let's say we've gained some patterns that we've built up throughout our lives, and based on those patterns, we continuously progress throughout life without healing or creating new patterns in order for us to handle things in a healthy manner. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is unresolved emotional baggage. And what is that? What are the things that we put to the side, we brush off, and we're like, you know what, I'm going to tackle that later at a later date, or I don't even want to tackle that. I don't even want to think of it. Whatever bothered me in the past, let it stay in the past. I'm here to tell you that we tend to pick up bad habits by placing our old baggage away, because once you place your emotions away, you kind of like, hey, you forget about exactly what occurred, why it bothered you, and you may not know the full details of what occurred, once you bring it back to the front forth. So this is the steps before people resort to, like, finding things to go help them or heal them, like such as smoking, drinking, unhealthy things. Maybe they're partying, and some people go to harder drugs. I noticed that a lot of people with unresolved baggage, a lot of people resort to drugs, and drugs is not the answer. So how do we think about healing our unresolved issues without resorting to the negative, right? So the brain sometimes accepts, the situation of the wounds, and it wants to intensify it. So you don't realize that, like, by us choosing to go down a path of, like, oh, I'm just not gonna bother with it, I'm going to intensify the baggage anyway. So I'm sometimes avoiding does more damage to you than actually sticking to the topic. How you doing? Yeah, I'm from New York. How you doing? What's up? What's your name? Dion Vlogs. What's going on? But yeah, unresolved emotional baggage, and it's super important to take care of your emotions and talk to yourself. Um, how you doing, Emma? How you doing? The second thing is stress and overwhelm. People be stressed. I know I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we tackle the stress that we have in our everyday life, such as relationship, health issues, whatever's going on in life? I know a lot of people's stresses would be money. You know, what can we do to diminish the stress in our life and make it into a person? I mean, into a lifestyle that of abundance. Like, if we're working out, working out seems to help a lot of people with stress. You know, even not working out, I know journaling, writing songs for me, writing music helps me with stress. I can actually sing a song and I'll be happy after. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. What's your message, Leah? Oh, you're the best. All right, I got you. How you doing, Bryson? But yeah, when we're actually, you said to manage my day, to stress. I like to see other people's fans. But anyway, yeah. For me, I definitely like singing, making music to help me with my stress, and so that way I think that everything ties into the way we present ourselves and how we overreact in general. Like, the way we tackle our days, the discipline that we have. Like, if I wake up, the food that I ingest, the things that I put in my body is going to help me manage my day to day. You know what I mean? Even to the what time I wake up, what time I go to sleep. I think it's crucial to think about the steps we're gonna take in order to not being overreacting. So there's three states of mind. There's your reasonable mind, your wise mind and your emotional mind. So when you're emotional and you're in your emotional mind, you tend to overreact. You're not thinking about anything. You're just like, I'm gonna give it to you how I'm gonna give it to you. It is what it is. And that's the one we tend to use the most when we're very emotional, not thinking about what we're gonna do. That's the one that I'm gonna get right with you. I'm really gonna argue with you. My reasonable mind is really me thinking of the situation, and then my wise mind is me placing them all of them together. So why is that important? Like, why is it important to be aware of how we respond to certain situations? I think that, excuse me, I think that if we actually think and take the time to acknowledge how we're feeling in the moment and be present with ourselves in the moment, it helps us make a rational decision. Helps us make better decisions than what we would have or what we've done in the past, you know? I can sit here and be upset with someone and then curse them out. I can lash out. But what am I really resolving, you know? Now, I'm big on, if I make the life a better experience for the people who's around me, then they'll in return make life a better experience for me. You get what you give, right? So, how you doing, Evan? What's up? But yeah, if you tend to think about the way you overreact, you have to acknowledge what you're feeling, what is the intense feeling, and how to, question yourself in those moments of how can I lower the way I feel right now, or you can't diminish it. To sit here and say that you're not gonna feel something, that's unrealistic. We all gonna feel, but it's what we do with those feelings. So, what are you doing with your feelings on a day to day? And how do you let it ponder in your mind? I know that, there's a time when I used to think and think and think and think and let those feelings just intensify in my mind, but it was doing me no good. It's actually doing me more harm than positive. So what can I change about those in order for me to become a better person? What can you change for that to make you a better person? And what does that look like to you? Those are the questions you should ask yourself. I think that when it comes to overreacting, it's a fascinating topic because everybody tends to have a moment in their life, like growing up from a kid to an adult. Everybody has a moment in their life where they could be like, hey, I may have overreacted in that situation, or I could have handled it better. Even as I'm growing on my journey, I still have moments when I say, that bothered me, that triggered me, I didn't handle it in the right way. So I think it's a skill that we need to build on, that we need to work through, and then that we could say, okay, you know what, I handled it this way one time, but I can change the behavior, I can change the way I experience these kind of moments in my life. If somebody says something that triggers you, how can I handle that in a way that I'm in control and that person's not in control? And some people, most people, when you show that you've bothered by something, they're gonna keep picking and picking and picking, so what do you do then, right? I think that's why there's a lot of bullying in school, because there's a lot of kids aren't aware of how to handle those emotions, especially when they're intensely going on and they're not used to someone picking and picking and picking, like, deeply into their feelings. So that's why it's so important to talk about these things and communicate it and get whatever you're feeling inside out, to avoid any negativity. And I'm fully aware that we can never fully avoid negativity. It's going to happen regardless. How you doing, Darius? But it's like we have to add some positivity to this world. We have to add some change. I think that a lot, like social media these days, they like intensify negativity, and negativity is cool, like, but negativity is not dope. What's up? And we have to teach the young ones around us, like, This is how you handle your emotions. It's not cool to overreact. And 9 times out of 10, that person that's in that classroom that's overreacting the most has a troubled and challenging upbringing. They're overreacting because there's an issue going on deep rooted within, you know. Lastly, I think that, we all kings and queens, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we should act as such. We should carry ourselves in positive manners. We should attract the people who want to grow, who want to change, and teach each other new skills on that. So self-awareness is very important. And this is a skill that we need to utilize, not just one day. It's not like, hey, oh, I know what the 3 states of mind are. I know that I got to be self-aware, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yo, it's changing, or I've fully changed. I'm fully healed. No, healing is a journey, and we have to work with each other on that journey. You know what I mean? The people you meet, the hands that you shake, they all tie into who you become. And how are you impacting other people's lives around you in ways that they can teach you. When I was a kid, I used to think there was nothing nobody could teach me. I'm like, yo, they don't know better than me. I was so wrong. Like, there's people in this world that are like a beacon of light that want to give feedback to you, give love to you, pour into you as well as you pour into them. But you have to be open for that, because if you're resistant for change, things around you are never gonna change. You're never gonna grow. So a part of overreacting and not overreacting is realizing and becoming fully aware of you, your situation, and the dynamic around you. Like, what are you doing your day to day? What is the reason why you feel the way you feel? And if you're not fully aware of why you feel the way you feel, then maybe you should start doing some inner work, some inner self-love, getting to know self. A lot of people focus on everything around them except themselves. It's an interesting concept. It really is. I think that, again, this is a journey, and we got to break those limiting beliefs that we have. We believe that life is what it's going to be. We're not in control of our life, and we are very much so in control of what we do and how we respond to the situations around us. So again, like, comment, subscribe if you feel like you can relate to this. Let me know if there was a moment in your life where you overreacted. How did that feel? Where did you feel the tension at? And what you did to change that behavior, because not only is that beneficial for you, but maybe somebody else who reads it is like, hey, I've overreacted too. I know there's a lot of times in my life I've overreacted, and I had to grow from it. So this is a growth channel. This is a channel about abundance and prosperity. I'm trying to allow people to see that there's a way out, and there's healing. Not everything that you see in your YouTube is gonna be something negative. I'm a beacon of hope, and I want positivity around me. So yes, if we're gonna grow, we can grow together, we can learn together. So again, let me know that if there was a time where you've ever felt like you overreacted and what you did with it. Holla at me.